Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with the beautiful Karina here in Bogota, Colombia, waiting for our K1 visa to get finished up. We're just waiting on the Interpol police certificate to get completed. And Karina, today, she called Interpol in Bogota. She got on her phone and said, "Hey, it's Karina. What's going on with my police certificate?" And the gentleman on the phone was very nice, and he said, "Karina, your Interpol police certificate is in process, and it will be done at the latest the 19th of December. So we get to hang out here till at least probably the rest of December. Because once we get the Interpol police certificate, then we got to send it to, well, I'm going to send it to the embassy. I might just get on the bus and bring it to them personally and say, here, Happy New Year. So it looks like we're going to be in Colombia for December. But I got to get my teeth finished up anyway. Now let's see. We got Cecilia Gomez. How long to get the visa after the interview? How can we get it faster? Okay, Cecilia, why is everybody in such a big rush? This channel is your channel, and it's the channel of patience. It's patience, patience, patience. Okay? There's no such thing as get it faster. If you call the embassy up and say, I want it faster, guess what? It's going to go slow. So it takes about a week to get your K1 visa, put in your passport, and then you go pick it up, or they mail it to you, or wherever they send it, and you get it in good time. There's no such thing as get it faster. No, it doesn't exist in immigration. Christopher Stout, breaking news, it's now 15.5 processing. Well, that's good. It's great. But actually, K1 visas are getting processed in 11, 12, 13 months. So I don't pay any attention to what USCIS says. I don't pay attention to it. Mr. Najas, hi Diego and Karina, what's going on? Mr. Najas, good to see you here on the channel. Isaac Medrano, Diego, we did the interview and they said we need deportation documents from her past relationship. Okay, there's always going to be a surprise somewhere if you were in a previous K1 visa or a previous matrimony with a foreign national. There's always going to be a surprise, so you got to get the deportation documents. Now, I'm surprised that immigration don't have those on file, but they have them somewhere, so you got to get them. Cecilia Gomez, LOL. Cecilia, there's no such thing as get it faster in immigration, okay? It's called how to get it slower. What's the slowest you can get a K1 visa? Okay? The slowest way to get a K1 visa is to keep contacting immigration, asking them what's the status. Then it slows down. Miguel's talking to Christopher. Tajislini's World. Good night, Diego and Karina. Tajislini's World. What's going on? Isaac, Mudu, how do you get the deportation documents? Is there a website? Isaac, I have no idea how to get deportation documents. You got to contact the Border Patrol. Contact the Border Patrol. Go to the Border Patrol website and look for the phone number to the Border Patrol and call them up and say, hey, I need deportation documents. So go to the Border Patrol website. It's the same website you go to when you fill out the I-94. When your beautiful Primatita, when Karina gets to America, finally, probably January at this point, but when she gets to America, the Border Patrol is going to generate an I-94 for her. The Border Patrol control the entry and exit from the country. So contact the Border Patrol. They will have the documents for you. They'll get them for you. Let's see. Let me see here. RGLE TV. Hey, Diego and Karina, how are you? We're good. Got an immigration interview for January 23rd. That's great. The biometrics is December 7th. Okay, that's no problem. Only took 7 days from ready status to packet 3, packet 4, Dominican Republic. You think the biographics and the interview is too far apart? No, you're good. As long as it gets done. Get the biographics done. The biometrics. Get the biometrics done. Get the medical exam done. Get the blood work taken. Get that all done. And you will be good to go. Jin S. Good evening, Diego and Karina. Thank you for all your videos. No problem. I haven't been making as many videos here in Colombia because I don't have the technology. I don't have my desktop. I got the editing software, but I got to battle with street noise, fire department, police ambulances, music from stores, street. It's a big city. It's like being in New York City. So it's hard to make a video here without background interference. So I do the live streams because you guys need the information, but I'll be making better videos probably starting next month when we're back in Florida. So Isaac Medrano, you need to contact the Border Patrol, the Border and Customs Protection, CBC, and call them up and ask them what's the process to get the deportation documents for your visa interview, okay? They'll have it. They'll have that information. Mr. Nahas, we're waiting on our interview on the 15th of this month. Hey, it's a piece of cake. The scary visa interview. It's easy. It's not hard. Angel TV, Angeli TV. I took the first appointment available for everything. High five. Did good. Jeff Mantok. Super chat, Jeff Mantok. Thank you. Now, I'm about over my Bogota flu. I got over my mountain sickness. In a few days, I've just got to go to the dentist and get my teeth extract these and they're going to put new teeth in my front of my mouth. The dentist looked at my teeth in Colombia. He said, you got a bad infection there. Both, they got to come out. So he sat me in the chair, shot me up with Novocaine and yanked them out. But before he did that, he made a mold of my front of my teeth. So he made this great bridge. So I got this perfect bridge to use thanks to my Cuban dentist. We salute him. Thank you, doctor, for saving me from this bad infection. And Jeff, thanks for that super chat, Jeff. And Ardgley TV took the first appointments. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Sergio E. Leon. Now, Sergio E. Leon, I like your name, Sergio E. Leon M. So you must like Clint Eastwood movies, right? Because Sergio Leon is a movie director. Didn't he direct them or produce A Fistful of Dollars and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and For a Few Dollars More? Wasn't he the producer of those movies with Clint Eastwood back in the 60s, where they filmed these spaghetti westerns in southern Spain? Sergio Leon, I received an NVC K1 FTP letter. That's your welcome letter. November 21st, what do I do now? You print those letters. You print 3 copies of that K1 FTP letter. I already filled out the DS-160, paid the visa fee. Well, you got to get the packet 3 and packet 4 email before you schedule the interview. Before you pay any visa fees, you got to get the packet 3, packet 4 email, because they send you the links which you click on in order to schedule the visa interview. And you know, so you're jumping ahead. Yeah, slow down, be patient, print the K1 FTP email, make 2 or 3 copies, give one to your beneficiary. She's going to need it for the medical exam. And you should also have got an email called the list of travelers. Look for that. When you did the DS-160, they should have sent the list of travelers. Look for that email. Although you're probably going to have to wait until you get the packet 3, packet 4 email, which is the starting pistol to tell you to start paying your visa fee, scheduling the biometrics, and scheduling your visa interview. The K1, the packet 3, packet 4 email is basically the embassy telling you, go ahead and get started. Jen S, you doing great. Always. We're always doing great. I mean, I was doing live streams with the Bogota flu, missing front teeth, mountain sickness, and I didn't quit. I kept going for you guys. Isabella Henriquez. Saludos, Karina y Diego, desde Venezuela. Saludos, Isabella. Gracias. I got my Navy hat on. I should wear my Venezuelan hat. I wear my Venezuelan hat on what's today, Monday? Wednesday, I put my Venezuelan hat on. Now, they had elections in Venezuela on Sunday, and the dictator, communist president of Venezuela said, let's have a vote, a referendum, non-binding referendum. Let's see if we should invade Guyana. I'm like, for real? And then they had their election on Sunday, and the communist dictator of Venezuela, Maduro, said that 10.5 million people voted to invade Guyana. Well, that's impossible. There was probably only 900,000 people showed up to vote. How do we know that? Karina's family lives in Caracas. They were at the polling station. Nobody was there. There was nobody in line. There was maybe 2 people in line. So that election, in my opinion, was a fraud, and Karina thinks so too. So no, we're kidding. So if Maduro is watching us, Maduro, you're a fraud, dude. Anyway, that's my opinion. So Francois, good evening, Diego and Karina. How many years did you say to get bank statements? 12 months. 12 months worth of bank statements. Print 1 January, February, 12 months. How many years did you get? I went to the bank and got 2 years worth. Well, that's good. 2023 goes bye-bye. I will get the whole 2023. Good idea. But you only need 12 months. Immigration only need to see 12 months worth of bank statements because they want to see a year's worth of income. That's what they're looking for, a year's worth of income. Okay? And the way you prove that is with your bank statements, because my bank statements, it shows my direct deposit from my Navy retirement. Every month it goes in, and there's the evidence, and I got the highlighter and I highlighted it every month. Here's my Navy retirement. Here's my income from my job, blah, blah, blah. So Francois Livingston, what you need to do now is go and highlight all of your deposits into your bank. For immigration, couldn't care less what you bought at Walmart or CVS on your bank statement. They don't care. They want to know how much money you made each month. Go highlight the income, the direct deposits, okay? Let's see. Miguel's talking to Mr. Najas. Greg Lamping, Greg. Hi, Diego and Karina. Blessings on you both. We appreciate that. I'm not coughing now, right? I'm able to talk without disrupting the whole live stream with me coughing. Both my prometida has her embassy interview in Bogotá Wednesday, miércoles. Okay, cita en Embajada de Estados Unidos, Bogotá, miércoles. It's easy, fácil. Thanks to you, we feel calm and well prepared. Greg Lamping, stay relaxed, dress business casual, don't stress the interview. Okay, remember, immigration have already reviewed your K-1 visa package. Immigration has already looked at your DS-160. Immigration knows whether you're going to pass this interview or not right now. And you've already got it in the bag. Just got to relax. And don't forget the documents you got to bring to the visa interview. Don't forget to bring the police certificate for Colombia, the I-134 original signed and dated by you, the tax return, the W-2 or 1099, 12 months worth of bank statements, pay stubs, a letter from your boss telling you where you work, how much you make. They may not ask for that stuff. Immigration may not ask for it, but bring it. Have it ready. Your prometida needs her birth certificate original. Don't have to translate it into English anymore. They did away with that. Okay? So you got this, Greg. We look forward to seeing your prometida get her approval on Wednesday, miércoles. Amy, my fiance got a 221G November 1st. We sent all the requested documents 3 weeks ago. And today's SIEC account, the date changed, November 1st, December 4th. It looks like someone is actively reviewing. Wishing good luck. You got it. You're on it. And you'll be right done with it very soon. Bart Garcia, good afternoon, Diego and Karina from Washington State. Now, is it raining, Bud, in Washington State? Did it rain today? Did it rain yesterday? Is it going to rain tomorrow? We know Washington State got a lot of rain. That puts a lot of pressure on the weatherman. Think about this. The weatherman in Washington State comes on TV And he says, well, let's just say it's not going to be sunny today. That's how he does it. Mr. Najas, Miguel, about 4 weeks, and Miguel is talking to Sergio Leon. How long did it take your welcome letter? And then Sergio Leon, how long does the packet 4 take to arrive? The website shows no available appointments. Okay, Sergio Leon, the packet 3, packet 4 email is the starting pistol to start the process to schedule the visa interview, pay the visa interview, and the biometrics. Every embassy's got its own schedule, its own workload. You'll get the packet 3, packet 4 email when the embassy's not busy. When they're not busy, when they got time to process your visa. You just got to be relaxed through this whole process. Look, we're here still. I was supposed to be in Florida in November with Karina getting married on the beach, but we're still here in Colombia. It's immigration. It's the embassy. It's the process. Go with the flow. Be patient. Let's see. Bud Garcia, is there a way I could set up folders for my fiance for an interview? I know it's a little far away, but I would like to get a head start. Go ahead, Bud. Get it done. Get the folders together. Get your tax returns together. Get your tax transcripts. Get your W-2s. Get your I-134 filled out. They got a new format. There's a new I-134, a brand new Declaration of Financial Support. You can use the old one until January 9th, but I don't recommend you do that. Use the new one. Get it filled out and get it to your beneficiary. Go ahead and get started, Bud. Marcel, MP, Hi Diego, and Karina. Question for Karina. Pregunta para ti, mi amor, aquí.
Refuerzo varicela, no recuerdo la otra, fueron 2.
So Karina said she got 2 extra vaccinations when she went to the doctor. We thought we had all our vaccinations done. And the doctor, the civil surgeon, who is right now, who controlled Karina's life, said, hey, you need 2 more vaccinations. Do you want to get them done here in Colombia? I'll do them right here in my office. Or do you want to get them done in the United States? Karina's like, what do? I said, here's my credit card. Get them done. Boom. Boom. She got 2 more vaccinations. And her arm was sore like for what? 2 days. 2 días, mucho dolor en todo el brazo. Her arm was sore for 2 days. So it must have been a pretty strong dang vaccination. But she got it done.
Recuerdo refuerzo varicela, la otra no recuerdo. No.
She doesn't remember. She doesn't remember the name of the vaccination. Nay Gien, hi Diego and Karina. Nay Gien, what's going on? Nay Gien, where are you at? What country are you in? Francois, thank you. Merci beaucoup, gracias. And Francois is telling me thank you in French. Now, I've been to France 11, 12 times. I've been to France 12 times. I've been to Paris. I've been to Marseille. I've been to Dunkirk. I've been to Cherbourg. I've been to the Normandy landings. I went to, I got on a bullet train in Marseille, France, and I rode the bullet train to Paris. I spent the weekend in Paris. When I was in Paris, I went to the graveside of the lead singer from The Doors. What's his name? Jim. I can't remember his name. The lead singer of The Doors. He's buried in Paris. I went to his gravesite. It was good. I even went into McDonald's in Paris. I went into McDonald's and I got a Big Mac and fries, and it was like $50. I'm like, what the heck? What in the world is going on? But I had to have my fries. I had to have my Big Mac. Let me see here. Nay Jian, it's been 3 months of approval. On September 26th came a letter telling us that the embassy would send our case to the embassy where I belong. When you think I'll receive some news for the appointment? What country? Nay Jian, what country are you in? Sorry. Miguel, Mr. Najas is talking to Miguel. Miguel's Karina. Karina, pregunta para Miguel. Colombia is not spelled, there's no U in Colombia. Colombia is Colombia. Pregunta para...
El paisaje en mi ventana, las montañas. Las montañas.
Okay, we live in the mountains we live in the Andes Mountains, 10,400, 500 feet above sea level, right up and around there. It's very high up, okay? So my blood takes like 3 times as long to process oxygen. So I'm sleepy a lot, and I'm dragging my feet. I'm helping Karina with the groceries. We live on the fourth floor of this edificio. I'm helping Karina carry bags up for our groceries, and it's like work. It's like doing a 2-hour workout in Gold's Gym on Venice Beach. Let me see here. So let me see. Miguel, Karina responde para tu pregunta, ¿sí?
Sí.
First we're saying in transit. Bud Garcia, yes it did, and it will rain all week. It's going to rain all week in Washington State, Bud. You got to prepare your prometida for the rain in Washington State. But that's why it's so green in your state. It's a beautiful state. I've been to Washington State. It's a beautiful place. Let me see. Christopher Stout, $350 K1 Visa cost price. For what? The K1 Visa, you got to pay the $265 visa fee. Then you got to pay for the medical exam. Then you got to pay for the blood work. The biometrics is included in the visa fee. Then you got to pay for the adjustment of status and the biometrics. So the K1 visa cost can be probably close to $2,000, maybe more. And then you got plane tickets you got to put in there. Okay. David Rubio. Hi, Diego. How are you? Oh, we're good. We're good. Look, I got orange juice right here with no sugar. Look at that. Let me see. Will the 1040 and W-2 for the past 3 years be good? Yes, perfectly fine. But get the tax transcripts too. Get the tax transcripts too. You don't know what the immigration officer is going to ask for. In Singapore, they ask for the tax transcripts. In Malaysia, they ask for the 1040. In the Philippines, they ask for the 1040. In Bogota, they ask for the 1040. You never know. They may ask for the tax transcripts too. Alejandro Rey. Hey, Diego and Karina, how are you guys? We're good. Muy bien, gracias. So me and my fiance have been waiting already for about 3 weeks, checking on the Bogota Embassy website, but still no appointments. Is that normal? Totally. You will probably get your appointment in February of 2024. They're wrapped up around the axle. They're busy. The embassy in Bogota is one of the busiest embassies in the world. You got to understand, they're processing K1 visas for people from Curacao, for people from Venezuela, for people from Colombia. It's a busy place. And also they're processing visas from other countries. I can't remember the names, but I know Curacao, which is a Dutch colony, if you're in Curacao and you get a K1 visa approved, you have to come to Bogota to get it done. So they're busy, guys. Be patient, Alejandro. You'll get it. You're going to get your K1 visa, okay? We thought we had ours wrapped around in the bag. We had it already stacked and ready to go. So no, we got to get this Interpol police certificate. And Karina called the Interpol people today. Very nice people. They said, Karina, your police certificate's in process. Give us till the 19th of December and we'll get it to you. So that's good, right? So we're going to be probably in Colombia another month. Let's see. So yeah, it's normal, Alejandro. It's normal. It's normal for Bogota. Marcel MP, my arm is sore for so many vaccinations. Well, good. Get it done. I got the last one Saturday. I hope they don't need any others, but if they do, we are victors. I learned that from you, Diego. Marcel, you learned from me to be a victor, not a victim, right? Don't be a victim. Don't let immigration stress you out. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be pressured. Just go with the flow. Okay? Remember, immigration is a slow process. It's like a chess game. A chess game can take weeks to play. One game, right? Same thing with immigration. Don't be a victim. Don't be having a pity party. I can't set my appointment. There's no appointments available. It's blah, blah, blah. Okay. Don't be that way. Keep looking, and you'll get your appointment scheduled, okay? And I'm sorry your arm was sore, Marcel. but it's part of the process. Suck it up and get through it. And you did. Let's see here. Bud Garcia, when do you think I will hear something? My NOA 2 was the 20th of October. Okay, Bud, let me see here. When will you hear something? NOA 2, 20th of October. Probably beginning middle of January, you'll hear from the MVC, okay? You'll get your welcome letter, middle of January. Jeniella James, hey Diego, hope all is well with you and Karina. We're good. Jeniella, thanks for checking in with us. Ivis Ordonez. Hello, Diego. Hola, Karina. I greet you from Honduras, Central America. I've been to Honduras. What a beautiful country. Right there in Central America. I have my interview January 2024. No problem. Any advice? Yes. Ivis. My advice to you, dress business casual. Don't take it personally if the immigration officer starts acting like a jerk. It's their job to act like a jerk. You got the good guy and you got the bad guy. Okay? They want to see how you respond to pressure. Can you handle the pressure of the interview? Now, in some embassies, like in the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, the countries out there, they're a little bit more amable, more agreeable. The immigration officer is a little bit more relaxed and more friendly. But in Central America, South America, they're a little bit more aggressive. So my advice is to stay calm, dress business casual, make sure you don't forget any documents, bring your documents, don't forget them, and get your visa. And then Jeniella, hopes all is well. We're good. Jeniella, I'm not coughing as much, so I'm not giving you guys any flu, even though you can't catch it through the camera. Let me see. Visa for interview DS-160. What's the question? You got to have the confirmation page for the DS-160 and give it to your prometida for the visa interview. Okay, the original DS-160, not a copy, not a scanned copy, the original. Sergio E. Leon, Diego, how long did it take for you to receive the packet 3, packet 4? 19 days. Let me see here. And the website allowed you to schedule the app from the time you received the MVC welcome letter. No. The MVC welcome letter is the K1 FTP one. It's the KFTP email. Okay, that's just the welcome letter. I had to print it for Karina's medical exam. You got to take the K1 FTP email to the medical exam. The secretary wants to see it. Are you in a K1 visa process? Yes. Prove it. You got to prove it. Okay. Here's my list of travelers from the MVC. That's the email called List of Travelers. Here's my K1 FTP welcome letter from the MVC. From the embassy. There's the evidence. Boom. They scheduled Karina's medical exam. If you can't prove you're in the middle of a K1 visa interview, you won't get the medical exam. Let me see. Janiela James, Diego, my husband, adjustment of status was received November 24th, last night. I saw an update that his biometrics was scheduled 9 days. In 9 days, I didn't know USCIS work on the weekend. USCIS, some offices work on the weekend. It's the embassies, some embassies that work on the weekend, some embassies don't. It depends, you know. If they throw some overtime out there for some people, hey, you want to make some money overtime processing visas, adjustment of status, can work Saturday and Sunday. I'll do it. I'll make some money. I'll make double time. It depends, you know. So they do work on the weekends, Janiela. David Rubio, does it have tax transcript? David Rubio, you need to get the tax transcripts. Call the IRS on the 800 number. There's an 800 number you can call to get the tax transcripts. Call them up, go through the process, press 1, press 3, whatever, and they'll send them to you in about 5 to 6 days. It's easy. I got 3 years worth of tax transcripts, 2020, 2021, and 2022. Gave them to Karina. Here you go. Have at it. You got them in your hand, and then if the immigration officer asks for them, you got them. If they don't worry about it. But bring them. You got to have them. Dina, Ali, hi Diego and Karina. Hope you're doing well. What's going on, Dina? Diego, I have a question. My fiance interview in Abu Dhabi hopefully goes well. Sure, it will. It's going to go perfectly fine. If they take his passport, how is he going to get to Baghdad without a passport? Well, they take his passport because they're going to put his visa in it. So if he's in Abu Dhabi and they take his passport, that's good. You want that to happen. You got to make sure that happens. And then they take his passport for about a week or 2 weeks, and they put his K1 visa in there, and then you fly him from Abu Dhabi to the United States. One way. There is no reason for him to go back to Baghdad. Why would he go back to Baghdad? He's got his K1 visa in his Iraqi passport. Congratulations. He's got a one-way ticket to the United States. Why would you want him to go back to Baghdad? That's a question. He gets his K1 visa in his Iraqi passport. You have a big party celebration over the phone, and you fly him from Abu Dhabi to wherever in the USA. Do not send him back to Iraq. Please don't do that. Okay, so what happens when the Iraqi immigration officer gets his passport and looks at it and says, oh, you got a K1 visa to the United States? Oh, we can fix that right now. And whoop, he tears it out and shreds it. It could happen. Do you want to take that chance? Do you want to take that chance, Dina? When he gets to Abu Dhabi, he turns in his passport. They put his K1 visa in his passport. He flies from Abu Dhabi to America. There's no going back to Iraq. There's no flying to Baghdad. Get that out of your head. My opinion. Let me see. Dina, another question. For I-134, my friend is going to be a sponsor. Good news. My fiance, does he need to show his bank accounts? Okay. Dina, if you have a joint sponsor, your joint sponsor has to fill out the I-134, get the last 3 years worth of tax returns and tax transcripts. I recommend 3 years. They're probably only going to ask for the last year, 2022, but get 3 years worth. A letter from his boss saying this is where he works, get pay stubs and all that. Okay, and don't forget to bring to the visa interview your chat logs. Chat. In Yahoo, in Messenger, in WhatsApp. Bring those to the visa interview too. So Dina, to answer your question, when your fiance gets his passport taken out of his hand and it starts to get processed for a K1 visa at the U.S. Embassy in Abu Dhabi, there is no going back to Iraq. You got me? Do you hear me? And yes, your joint sponsor is going to have to provide all the financial documentation to prove income, including fill out the I-134. And Sergio he's got a question later. I can't read it. I don't know. Let me page down. Karina's telling me how to do this. She's my technical expert. I don't know how to do this stuff. She got it. Let me see. Let's see where I jumped to, because I just basically jumped. Okay, Sergio is talking to Quanto. My MVC letter, December 21st. You didn't receive it in the embassy. Okay. Ivis. Are savings taken into account when calculating the minimum income requirement? Only if you don't make enough money. If your income isn't quite there, if it's not quite sufficient, if you make $2,000 to $3,000 over the minimum, make sure you put your savings account balances down, checking and savings, to help give immigration a little warm, fuzzy feeling. Remember, there's some people out there that make 20 grand a year and don't qualify for the income, but they got $1 million in the bank because they're retired. So they qualify with the bank statements and the savings and check-ins and all that. So it gets taken into account if your income isn't quite there. Thanks for everything, Diego. Greetings to you and Karina from my heart. I hope you're both in the USA soon. Ibis, thank you. I think we'll be in the United States probably. I told Karina today, but just I know you want to get there like now, but I think January, first week of January is probably going to be when we're going to get there. We should get our Interpol police certificate. They told her on the phone. The Interpol police said to beautiful Karina, give us to the 19th of December. They'll get her the police certificate. They'll email it to her. She'll then email it to me. I will then upload it into the SIAC account, and I will also email it directly to the embassy. So there's no excuse. They can't say they didn't get it. And then we just got to wait on the embassy in Bogota to get on busy. So that could take a while because they're busy. So we figured January we'll be in Florida and we're going to get married right away. We'll live stream the wedding, and then we will do the adjustment of status for the green card, and I will walk you through it step by step. Okay? It's not hard. So let me see. So Ivis, we're here for you, Ivis. We're going to help you. We're going to pull you over the finish line. Daniela James is talking to JD. And Miguel, Diego, did you and Karina have to practice any prep for any interview questions? I already prepped Karina for the interview a year ago. I trained her. She knew what to expect because I've been through the same thing in 2016 at the same place. So I wrote up a list of 100 possible questions in Spanish, and Karina studied all these 100 questions, and they asked her questions that weren't on that list. They asked her, do I have a brother? Yes, I have a brother. What's his name? His name is this. And he's probably watching the channel right now. I don't know. It's a Monday night, probably not. He's in bed. He's got to go to work tomorrow early. They asked her if I've been in prison before. I've never been to prison. Immigration knew I've never been there because they got my FBI police reports hanging from their clipboard right there next to the computer. But they asked her that question. She said, no. Like, seriously, what a stupid question. They asked if I'd been divorced before. They said, yeah. She said, yeah. Chris said, yeah, he was. Yeah. It's done. Here's the divorce decree. Here. Merry Christmas. It's for you. A gift to you. They took my tax transcript, my 1040, my 1099. They didn't take my bank statements, pay stubs, or my letter from my boss. Because they already read that stuff when I applied for the K1 visa in 2022, in April. They already read it. They already knew who my boss was, where I worked. They knew already. So they didn't ask for to repeat it. So if you put together a strong K1 visa package, include the I-134, bank statements, a letter from your boss, pay stubs. If you can put all that together when you submit your K1 visa, even though it's not required, it speeds up the process at the embassy, right? It cuts down your interview from 30 minutes to 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So did I prep Karina for the visa interview? Yeah, I prepped her. But they asked her some of the questions they asked her I didn't even know they were going to ask her. Bud Garcia, with my folder, would it be good to have 2 folders or just one for the interview? You got to have 2 folders, one copy for yourself and one for the interview officer. You got to make a copy for yourself. Whatever you do, when you put a K1 visa package together, make a copy of the whole thing so you have it for yourself. Bring it to your beneficiary's country. I brought Karina the entire K1 visa package I submitted to the lockbox in Dallas in April 2022. I brought it to Colombia and gave it to Karina. You never know, immigration could lose a document. Boom, there you got it right there in your hand, ready to go with the other packet. Bring 2 folders, prep 2 folders, okay? Mi amor, ayúdame, por favor. Miss Betty, Miss Entertainment, Miss Betty. Let me see. Hi, Diego. My fiance blocked me after he got his visa. What? Wait a second. Miss Betty, your fiance blocked you after he got his visa. What can you advise me after we have been engaged more than 2 years? I didn't hear back for a week. I am not sure if he arrived in the USA. Okay. Now, here's the deal. You need to file a fraudulent immigration visa with USCIS. Okay? There's a place you can go. You go to Google and Google immigration fraud report. You need to report him. Okay, as soon as he got his K1 visa, he blocked you and disappeared. And you don't know if he entered the United States or not. Is that what you're telling me? Engaged more than, I didn't hear back for a week. I'm not sure if he arrived in the USA. Well, you need to report him as here's the deal. If he doesn't adjust status, if number one, you're not going to get married because obviously he defrauded you. So you're not going to get married. Number one, that's going to get reported to immigration after 90 days. If that's going to be a report. Number two, if you do not adjust the status, which you're not going to do, you do not adjust his status for green card. Flag number two, immigration's going to know he entered the United States illegally and fraudulently, and they're going to be looking for him, and they're going to cancel his visa. They're going to put his name in a computer database as a fraudulent visa, and he's going to be wanted by the Border Patrol and ICE. But what you got to do is you got to report it. If you don't report it, immigration will think you were a co-conspirator. If you don't report it, if you don't call him, if you don't email immigration and file this report that he fraudulently used you for a K1 visa to enter the United States, if you don't report it, you will be a co-conspirator and you are locked from ever applying for another K1 visa again. And I'm sorry that happened to you. But what you need to do, Miss Betty, is you have to Google file immigration fraud. Google it. It'll take you to the Homeland Security website where you can file charges against him. You must do it. You got to do it. You have to be the one to report it. Immigration's already going to know he's a bad dude. When you don't adjust the status for green card, when you don't get married in 90 days, immigration's going to find out, and they're going to go after him for immigration fraud. Homeland Security is going to find him and deport him. But the thing is this, you have to report it. So immigration don't come after you and accuse you of being a co-conspirator. You got it? Miss Betty, I am so sorry that happened to you. I'm so sorry, but don't be a victim. Don't be a victim. Be a victor and prosecute him. You got to do it. Greg Lamping, what are the cell phone policies in the U.S. Embassy in Bogota? Shut them off. Put them in your jacket pocket. Don't open them. Don't use them. If you get on your cell phone at the embassy in Bogota, an immigration officer will come over and scream in your ear to turn off your phone. So take your phone, shut it off, put it in your jacket pocket, and sit there and read comic books instead of Googling the news, and you'll be fine. No problem. Bud Garcia, and will the NVC welcome letter let me know what I need to put in the folder? No, Bud Garcia. The NVC welcome letter is a K1 FTP email saying welcome. Doesn't tell you anything. The packet 3, packet 4 email lists the things you need to bring to the embassy in the folder. But I've made videos about what to put in folders to bring to the embassy. You just got to look for the video. Miss Betty, hang in there, Miss Betty, okay? Hang in there, Miss Betty. We're here for you, okay? I'm gonna steer you in the right direction on that person that defrauded you. Dina, see, I didn't know that he'll fly from Abu Dhabi, so he'll get his stuff with him. Can't wait for the day. Dina, I just saved you a massive headache. Thank goodness you're on this channel. Because if you're prometido, if your beneficiary flew back to Baghdad, he goes into immigration in Baghdad in Iraq, and they see his U.S. approved K1 visa, they could tear it out and shred it. That's how they work. Communist China. Let's suppose you fly into communist China and you live in China. You're a Chinese resident. You live in China, and then all of a sudden the communist immigration officer doesn't like you. He doesn't like your smirk on your face. He doesn't like the fact you went on vacation to wherever. So he'll get a big clip thing, and he'll put he'll clip your passport and terminate it. That's how the communists work. They're evil. My opinion. If you're a communist, well, that's my opinion. Get over it. But the communist Chinese, if you enter China, if you go on vacation, you enter back into China, they can get a thing like a hole punch, and they hole punch your passport, and that invalidates your passport, so you can't travel anymore. And it could take, what, a year to get a new passport. Nah, don't go. Dina, when your future husband gets to Dubai, gets his visa, fly him home to America. He needs to say goodbye to his Iraqi family and friends now. Ciao, hasta luego. Go to eat some dates in a great Iraqi restaurant, and then say bye. Let me see here. David Rubio, Diego, after I do the DS-160, my fiance is in Barranquilla. Okay, so that's on the west coast of Colombia. She needs to travel to Bogota for the medical. That's correct. She doesn't have all her vaccinations. Will she have to get all the missing shots? No. The doctor, the civil surgeon, will tell her she can get her vaccinations with him, in the doctor's office, or she can get them in the United States. But you got to get the missing shots. Do not adjust status for green card without having a full vaccination record included in that adjustment of status paperwork. Make sure, Dina, but does my friend need to show his bank balance? Yes. If it helps you, yes. It's going to help your visa, yes, Dina. David Rubio, do you recommend going to the medical at least 3 weeks before the interview? Yes, I do. I recommend 3 weeks before. Karina went to her medical exam like 6 days before the visa interview. And she goes and gets her chest x-ray done. And then the doctor calls her up the next day and says, oh, the doctor, the secretary says, we got to redo your chest x-ray. We can't make out your chest x-ray. And Karina's like, I knew it. She knew it. The Colombian radiologist jerked the dang camera and asked her some questions about her clothes she was wearing. So Karina said that didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. So they called her up and said, you got to come back and repeat your chest x-ray. So we bundled on 3 buses and a little 3-wheeled cart. And we went back to the doctor's office and redid her x-ray. Then we had to wait another 2 days, and they never called us back. So we knew that the medical exam was good. So be prepared for stuff like that. Dina, tax return. I have my friend 2021 and 2022. That's good. That'll work. That'll work, Dina. That's perfectly fine. K Messenger, good evening, Karina and Diego from that place in Mexico you can't pronounce, Diego. Tiaxicalo. Is that right? We received today our case number from the MVC. You're making progress. That's good. Let me see here. What should we expect now? Thank you again very much. Now, if you got your case number, now you're going to wait for your in-transit and your ready status from the embassy. So just wait. You're in a waiting game. Now you're in Mexico. Where's your visa interview? In Ciudad Juarez or in Mexico City? But you just got to wait now for the in-transit and the ready status, okay? Let me see. Miguel's talking to K Messenger. Emmanuel series. Hi, Diego and Karina. I have 5 kids. Woo, you've been busy. But they will join me in 4 months after I travel to the U.S. Does my fiance, the petitioner, need to get a joint sponsor because of them now? Hence, they are not coming with me now. No. If your sponsor, Emanuela, makes enough money to cover a family of 7, which is you, your 5 kids, and himself, if your sponsor makes enough money, way above that meets the minimum, that's way above the minimum federal income requirements, you don't need a joint sponsor, so long as the income's good. But you got to use that K2 visa within a year. The K2 visa for your 5 kids is only good for 12 months. So don't go past that 12 months, or else your kids won't be traveling to America. Okay? Got it? Emanuela. Mona Bless. Night Diego interview was November 13th. Medical was November 21 in Jamaica. So you did the medical after the interview. That's good. Waiting for the passport return. Perfect. And we'll be flying over Jamaica hopefully soon. Looks like we're going to be in Colombia for the rest of December. So I get to celebrate another Christmas in beautiful Bogota. It's no problem. Monica Enoch, is anyone here with a petition from Morocco? Good question. Janiela James is talking to Gel Deep. They're chatting away to each other. And let me see. Christopher Stout, where can we find 100 questions for the interview so I can give my fiance answers and questions to study? I made a video about it, Christopher. I made a video. There's videos out there I made. Just look through them, and I'll cover every question just about. Monica Enoch, February 2022 K1 filer. Our case has been in CASA since July 2023. Does anyone know how long it takes to get an interview? Let me see. 30 days exactly, Miguel. K Messenger. Garvin. Hi, guys. Hey, guys. Good to see you again, Diego. I'm alive and kicking. The mountain didn't get me yet. I'm a January 31, 2023 filer, and man, it's super nerve-wracking seeing them work on February and March right now, but still haven't finished January. Don't worry about it, Garvin. USCIS hasn't forgotten about you. They're going to adjudicate your visa. They have to. The congressional law requires they do. Just hang in there. Hang in there, okay? Okay, Messenger, our interview will take place in Ciudad Juarez. Okay, no problem. And Miss Entertainment, Miss Betty. Yes, thanks, Miss Betty. I am so sorry that happened to you. You spent all that money and all this time of 2 years of your life for that loser to block you as soon as he got his visa. You got to report him to the Border Patrol. If you could report him to USCIS, report him to the NBC, send an email to the NBC via an NBC inquiry, and email them and explain exactly what happened. Identify your beneficiary with his case number, his passport number if you have it, and his full name and date of birth. Send an inquiry to the NBC and say that you have just been through experienced immigration fraud. Send it the same email to USCIS. Write a letter to USCIS. Send it to the service center where your visa was processed or approved. Include a copy of the NOA-1 and the NOA-2 letter and your beneficiary's passport and full name and all that jazz. Report it to USCIS. Report it to the NBC. Email the embassy. What country was this, Miss Entertainment? What country were you in? Which country was this guy coming from? You need to email the embassy and identify him as immigration fraud, and print all these emails that covers every base, so immigration will not come after you as a co-conspirator. Okay, excuse me, guys. Miguel, question. Did they interview Karina in English or Spanish? In Spanish, Miguel. Karina can't speak English. They asked her muchas preguntas en español, no, not in Spanish. The American consular officer speaks Spanish and he speaks English. She spoke Spanish, she spoke English. It's bilingual. Let me see here. Sheku Dombaya. Diego, how are you doing? I'm good. We're good. We're great. Nice to hear from you. Thanks for stopping by and watching the channel. If you got any questions, let me know. Monica Enoch, Diego, we already paid for the DS-160. No, you didn't. The DS-160 is free. There's no charge for the DS-160. It's totally free. You paid for the K1 Visa face-to-face interview. That's what you paid for. You didn't pay for the DS-160. That's a free form. There's no charge. I contacted my congressman. FYI, I have seen other Morocco flyers that filed 5 or 6 months after we got interviews. Do we have priority since we filed before? Nobody has priority in a K1 visa interview scheduling. Nobody. The only person that has a priority is an expedite, which is if somebody's in a very bad medical condition or in the military fixing to deploy, and they want to get their prometida into the United States before he deploys or she deploys. There's no priority. Candy Caramel. Wait a second, Monica. We filed before. There's no priority. Candy Caramel in Dubai. Police certificate takes less than 30 minutes. Boom. In Colombia, same. John Wick. Hi Diego. The U.S. Embassy in Santo Domingo said they aren't sending K3, K4 packages anymore. That the beneficiary needs to fill out DS-160 as soon as the case is ready. So I'm happy my fiance can start. Get it done. K3 and K4 visas are becoming dinosaurs. They're going the way of the dinosaur. Denise Jefferson's talking to Miss Entertainment. Miss Betty, that news is terrible. Where is your fiance from? Yeah, Denise, that's horrible. That's a horrible thing that she went through. He's a loser. He's a nasty guy. Okay, and she needs to take immediate action to protect herself from immigration fraud on her side, because she didn't do anything wrong. So she got to take immediate action and report this loser to NVC, USCIS, and the embassy, and then print those emails. And she also needs to write a letter to USCIS Service Center in I thought, was it California, wherever it is. Make a copy of the NOA2, the NOA1, a copy of his passport, and his full name, and everything she can to identify him. Write a letter to USCIS and say this guy committed immigration fraud and entered the United States. As soon as he entered, I think he's entered the United States. He's disappeared off the face of the earth. He blocked me everywhere. Can't communicate with him. Report him, and then put him on the radar of Border Patrol. And the thing about this is this, Betty. Once you do all this paperwork, I know it's a pain, and make copies of everything, you have covered yourself, and you will not be incriminated as creating visa fraud for this person. Shiku Dumbaya. Diego, I have questions for you. I am going to Sierra Leone for my interview. Okay, so on the west coast of Africa. Very nice. I have my daughter. Very good. Your daughter's there in Sierra Leone, but I decided to bring now because of financial issues, but my fiance decided to help DS-160. Shiku, that's great, but I don't understand what you're telling me. What's the question? It's good information, and hopefully you and your daughter can come to America. You on a K1 and she on a K2. Christopher, do you remember which video it is for 100 questions? I called it questions and for the K1 visa interview. I've made 700 videos for you guys. So it's a pain having to look through them all. But it's in there. I made the video. And I made videos about visa questions at the embassy in Brazil. What questions did they ask you in Brazil? What questions did they ask you in Casablanca? Just page through the videos. It won't take you about 10 minutes. And I bet you find a video on that I've made for you guys on what questions were asked at the visa interview. But the main thing is you got to remember for the K1 visa interview, make sure you guys know each other. Karina knew I was divorced. She knows who she is. She knows where she lives. She knows I have a brother. She knows my job. She knows what kind of car I have. She knows the color of my car. Mi amor, ¿qué es color en mi carro? She knows the color of my car. She knows her address in Florida. The immigration officer asked her, "Where are you going to live in Florida?" She rattled off her address, the number, street. Right, the number, the street name, even the freaking county, Santa Rosa County in Florida, and she said it's near Pensacola. That's how good she was. Boom! Immigration officers writing away. They asked her, "What do I do for what do I do? How do I make a living? How do I pay the bills?" Well, he said, Karina was boom. He sells houses. He sells real estate. Boom. The immigration officer writes it in his computer. He already knew I did that. He wants to know if Karina knows that I did. She asked. He asked her, "Well, how much money does he make?" Well, she's like, he makes enough to qualify for this K1 visa. She's good. Okay. So if you're going to Sierra Leone, Shiku, ask me your questions and I'll help you. Emanuela, no, what is it? So Christopher Stout. I've made videos on questions that are asked at the visa interview. Okay? Relax, don't panic, okay? It's not hard. The secret to passing the visa interview, dress professionally, dress in business attire, be calm, be relaxed. If you don't know the answer to a question, say, I don't know. Immigration officer goes to the next question. Okay, it's not a negative on you. It's a positive. But if the immigration officer asks you a question, the consular officer asks you a question, and you make up some stupid story just to get through the question, the immigration officer is going to know you're lying. That's the problem. Don't lie. Don't make stuff up. Dress business casual. If you don't know the answer, say, I don't know, and relax. And it's over with. Emanuela. No, he doesn't make enough money for all of us, but he makes enough for both of us. He doesn't have any dependents. So, I mean, he doesn't make enough for me and my family and kids. But they are not going with me now. Okay, Emanuela. It doesn't matter if your kids are traveling with you to America or not. They are still going to become your sponsor's dependents when you get married. And he will be required by law to send your family, your kids, money every month, every 2 weeks in support until they become adults. And under immigration law, it's 21. So, if your kids are not going to accompany you to the United States of America, they still have to be included as dependents on your name, under your name on the I-134. Now, I'm not an immigration attorney. I'm not giving you legal advice. I don't work for immigration or USCIS or anybody like that. It's no legal advice here, but I know the process like the back of my hand. If you have 5 kids, your I-134 will be filled out by your sponsor, and your name will go here. And under your name will be for your 5 kids, their names, and then 5 plus 1 is 6. So you're going to have 5 dependents plus yourself. Then on his name, it's going to be his name. And how many kids does he have? If he doesn't have any family members, no dependents, it's going to be 0. So the immigration officer is going to look at the I-134 at the visa interview and say, okay, you got 5 kids. There's the beneficiary, and there's the sponsor. That's 7 people. The immigration officers, they're then going to look at the income requirements for 7 people. You got to meet that income. Plus, if he doesn't, he must get a joint sponsor who does. Okay? Now, your sponsor then, so your kids stay wherever they're going to stay in the home country with grandma, is fine. You fly to America, get married. So it's you and your sponsor. You get married. That's 2 people. Now you have to adjust the status for green card. Right? Your sponsor is going to fill out the affidavit of support form I-864. The family size that's going to show up on the I-864 is going to be your 5 kids, you, and him. 7 people. Even though your 5 kids are not in America, they are still your dependents. And then when you get married to your sponsor, they become his dependents. He's responsible for them, plus you. You got it? So, you fill out the I-134, Mr. Sponsor. Your name goes here. How many dependents? None. Okay, 0 dependents. Your beneficiary information, her name, full name, goes here. Her kids, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're all listed. Okay, right here. So you count up the dependents, it's 5. Plus the beneficiary and the sponsor is 7. Immigration officer is going to say you need to make this much money to sponsor your kids, even though they're not leaving America. Even though they are staying in the home country. Now, on page 13 of the I-134, there are little squares that give you room for extra information. In that square, in one of those squares, your sponsor is going to identify the page number for the beneficiary and dependents. He will write in there, these 5 children will not be flying to the United States with my beneficiary. They will be remaining in the home country with grandma or their uncle or their aunt or whoever at this address. Immigration want to know where the kids are staying, who they're staying with, and how many. That goes on the I-134. Okay? You have to find income that meets 7 people. Got it? Even though they're not coming to America, your sponsor is responsible for them. Now, if you do not send money to your kids, you come to America, you get married, you start your life in America, we're happy for you. If you don't support your kids in the home country and you don't have any evidence to show financial support for your kids, you will not be able to get U.S. citizenship. So let's suppose you've been in America for 3 years, you apply for U.S. citizenship. Immigration is going to know you got 5 kids in the home country. They're going to ask you right off the bat, you need to provide me proof of financial support for your children in wherever they live. If you cannot prove that financial support, you will not become eligible for U.S. citizenship and your N-400 request will be denied. You got it? Emanuela, ¿tú entiendes? Emanuela, does he need a joint sponsor? Yes. Hence, my kids are listed on the I-29F. Now, listen, Emanuela. If you did not include your 5 kids on the I-129F, immigration would deny your visa at the interview because they would think you were trying to abandon your children, which you're not trying to do. We know that, obviously, when you're not trying to do that. But congressional law requires that if you have kids, Miss Beneficiary, Mr. Beneficiary, whether they're coming to America to live with you or not, they have to be included on the I-129F. They have to be included on the I-134, Declaration of Financial Support. They have to be included on the I-864, Affidavit of Support. Immigration is protecting those kids. Emmanuel, let me see. K Messenger, Sheku Dumbaya. I have done the DS-160, which I have said I'm traveling alone. Now my fiance has decided to help me to bring her. Well, I hope so. What can I do now? I have submitted my DS-160, saying my daughter is coming. You have to submit 2 DS-160s, Sheku. You have to submit a DS-160 for you, the beneficiary, in its entirety. You print it, the confirmation page. You have to submit a DS-160 in its entirety for your daughter, in its entirety. Okay? So you're going to have 2 DS-160s, one for you and one for your daughter. Those have to be in your hand for the biometrics when you get your biometrics done in your home country with your passport. When you go to your biometrics, you got to include the DS-160 with the passport. You open up your picture page, you put the DS-160 in there, close it, and you hand it to the biometrics person. They open it and they process your biometrics. Okay, you got that? You got to have 2 DS-160s, one for every person. Now, Emanuela, you only need 1 DS-160, which is for you, because you're the only person traveling to America. You only have to pay for 1 visa fee, okay? The kids are staying in the home country. But you have to provide financial support for those kids till they're adults. And you got to prove it to immigration when you apply for U.S. citizenship. Emanuela, and do I need to list him on my I-134 as dependents? Your sponsor, not you, Emanuela, fills out the I-134. Your sponsor, Emanuela, will put his name down and his dependents. Your sponsor will put your name down and your dependents on the I-134 and list all your kids. That way, immigration can count the head count for the family size to determine minimum income. It's going to be 7. Yes, they will be included on the I-134, Emanuela, under your name. No, Emanuela, you will not sign that form. You don't sign the Declaration of Financial Support. It's got nothing to do with you. It's all about the sponsor. Bud Garcia, is there anyone on this channel that's going through K1 for Thailand? Okay. Help Bud out, guys, if you're going through the K1 in Thailand. K Messenger, RNOA 1 is December 9th, RNOA 2 is November 3rd. Case number today, K Messenger, you're on a roll in that city in Mexico where I can't pronounce the name. Rita Afrug, do they ask for COVID vaccination at the interview? No. The only time you got to prevent, the only time you have to present your COVID vaccination shots is when you apply for the green card. When you adjust the status for the green card, you got to prove COVID vaccinations are complete and up to date. Okay? If you file for your green card and don't include COVID vaccination evidence, you won't get your green card. Now that's because of the current administration. The current president of the United States telling the State Department, you don't get a green card without a COVID shot. Now, next year we have elections. If we get a new president, we don't know. That new president could change the rule and say, you don't need a COVID vaccination to get a green card. And then you won't have to worry about it. But right now, you got to have it for your green card. It all depends on who is the president of the United States at the time of this immigration process. Janiela James is talking to JD. Shiku, do I need to do another DS-160? Yes, because they asked me if I'm traveling alone. I said yes. Well, you're not traveling alone. I said yes. Now I'm coming. Now, Sheku, you are not traveling alone. You got to redo your DS-160, resubmit it for you, and then submit a DS-160 for your daughter. Okay? You're not traveling alone. You're bringing your daughter with you. Okay? You got to have 2 DS-160s and 2 confirmation pages. You got it? Redo it. Bud Garcia is sorry for Miss Betty. Yeah, we all need to be sorry. We don't feel sorry for Miss Betty. Be glad she didn't marry this loser, and then he tried to fleece her, not only out of a green card, but out of whatever she owns, and her property, and her home, and her car. She got lucky. The idiot loser, okay, decided to block her when he got his visa, and he figures he's free and clear now for a green card, but he's not. The only way that person can get a green card is if Miss Betty applies an adjustment of status paperwork for his green card. Well, obviously she's not going to do that. She's not going to apply for his green card because he blocked her and he used her. So he's going to be up the wall. He's going to be up the creek without a paddle, and the Border Patrol is going to be looking for him. ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, is going to be looking for him, and they're going to find him and they'll deport him. But Miss Betty needs to communicate with immigration through. She needs to send an email to ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. If you Google ICE immigration fraud, Google ICE immigration fraud and report him. That covers Miss Betty and protects her from immigration thinking she helped him. And then Dina says, where is he from that blocked her? That's a good question. I don't know. Miss Betty, where is this guy from that inflicted this pain upon you? K Messenger, Miguel, yeah, I did an inquiry on Saturday. Christopher, can you make the one with the Philippines questions? Sure, I'll make a video. But remember, I'm in Bogota, Colombia right now, way up in the mountains, and I don't have the equipment that I really need to make a good video. I really don't. So for now, I'm just basically just winging it with the live streams so you guys can get information here. But if you're going to the visa interview in the Philippines, in Manila, you know, the questions they're going to ask you are basically, you know, how long have you known each other? How many trips? This is a question they get in Manila, Philippines. How many times has your sponsor flown to the Philippines to be with you, Miss Beneficiary? And if you only say one time, you know, and you only stayed a week, that's not good. But if you say you've only been there one time and you stayed like 2 months or 3 months, that's good. Okay? That's the big question at the embassy in Manila, because the United States and the Philippines are far away from each other. It's a 24-hour flight. So immigration's like going, okay, how many times did this dude make a trip to Manila to see his beneficiary? Or Dubai, not Dubai, or Dubagetti, or Cebu. Meanwhile, can you let the cat out, please? Tokyo is crying like a little baby because he wants to go play out here in the conservatory. And he won't shut up until Karina opens the door and lets him go play. So he's out there. Karina let him out there. The biggest thing about Manila or the Philippines, Cebu, Dubagetti, wherever you live, how many times have you been to visit your beneficiary? Immigration is looking for at least 2 trips at a minimum. Let me see. Shiku. You got to redo your DS-160. One for you, one for your daughter, okay? Redo it. And don't put you're traveling alone, because you're not. You're traveling with your daughter. Emanuela, yeah, I got it. Thanks so much. Emanuela, I saved you a big headache. Georgie Giogazzi. Now, what country are you from, Georgie? I love your name. I love the name. Congratulations, Diego and Karina. We have an interview at the US Embassy in Tbilisi. That answers my question, Tbilisi. That's okay. By the end of January. Question: divorce decree must be original copy. Yes. I got a certified copy here. Yes. Certified copy. Here's what I did to get my divorce decree. Let me explain it to you. And here's what I did to get the divorce decree. Let me explain it. I went to the government office in Santa Rosa County. I said, I need a certified copy of my divorce decree. The lady looked up my name and she found it and she printed it and she printed it and she printed it. It was like, 5 or 6 pages. And then I paid her $20, and then she got a stamp and she stamped the top of the divorce decree. She signed her name and dated it, and that is a certified copy of a divorce decree. You cannot make a copy of that. You cannot scan that. I couldn't make a copy and scan it to Karina. I had to bring that document that lady gave me from that government office to Karina. So what I did to back it up even more was I took the business card of the clerk of the court and I stapled it to the bottom left-hand corner of the certified divorce decree. Karina went to her visa interview in Bogota. They said, we need the divorce decree. Karina goes, okay, Merry Christmas. Here you go. Here it is. Feliz Navidad. And he looked at it and he said, is this a certified copy or is this a copy of a certified copy? And Karina said, this is the original certified copy that was printed by the government official, and here is his business card for you if you want to call him. Okay, no, you're good. It's good. You got it? Certified copy of the divorce decree means go to the government office, have them print it. Don't email the government office and say, hey guys, can you email me my divorce decree? And then you print it off your computer into a PDF file, and then you scan it to your beneficiary. That's not going to cut it. They'll reject it. There was somebody in Mexico, was it Peru? In Peru, somebody in Peru, he sent his PDF scanned copy of his divorce decree to his beneficiary. She went and brought it to the visa interview, and they said this isn't going to fly. It ain't going to cut it. I need the original certified divorce decree. So she called him up and said, "Hey, I need the certified copy." He had to go to his government office. They printed it, they stamped it, they signed it. He put it in a DHL courier and mailed it to her. And then 2 months later, she got her visa. Alex Mo. When my fiance went to the interview, they didn't even ask for the I-134. Great. That's what you want. It was super weird. It was super weird. Why? Was she dressed up in Halloween costume? But she did get approved. Thank God. I guess they were doing it different in the Dominican Republic. No. They asked for the I-134 in the Dominican Republic. This immigration officer didn't ask for it. Maybe she was busy. Maybe she forgot to ask for it. Maybe they already knew the income was good. It wasn't necessary. But you got to be ready. When Karina went to her interview in Bogota, Colombia, they asked her for the I-134. Where is the I-134? Here it is. And they looked to make sure it was original, that I signed it. It wasn't a scanned copy. Then they said, okay, this is good. GS. Hello. Wait a second. Christopher Stout. Diego, one question. What is the annual income? What is the answer for that? Depends on your family size. How big is your family? Do you live in Alaska? Do you live in Hawaii? If you live in Alaska, or if you live in Hawaii, you gotta make much more money than if you live in the 48 contiguous United States. Family size of 3. To apply for a green card, you gotta make $31,075. That's the minimum. That's a possible RFE. You really need to be making $34,000, $35,000, $36,000 a year for a family of 3 when you apply for the green card, minimum. It all depends. How big's the family? What state do you live in? Let me see. GS, hello Diego and Karina. May I suggest a very English restaurant to treat the wife? Well, she's not my wife yet. If immigration thinks that she's my wife right now, they're going to cancel my K1 visa. She's my prometida, my future to be, soon to be, Mrs. Ross. Very soon, next month. Let me see. Restaurant Danielle in the Chapinero, Bogota. Okay. The Chapinero district in Bogota is the historic district. And I know exactly where that is. It's very historic. They got cobblestones. They got beautiful paintings, murals painted on the sides of the restaurants. I will look for that restaurant, GS. Restaurant Danielle. Mi amor, no olvide, Restaurant Danielle. Karina knows where it is. She knows where that is. GS, I cannot submit K1 because I'm a power of attorney for my 92-year-old mother. So sadly, I am legally tied down, but mother comes first. Okay. You can submit your K1 visa even if you have power of attorney for your 92-year-old mom. You can still submit a K1 visa. You can do it. There's no law that says your mom is a dependent to you. There's no law that says you cannot file a K1 visa. Or your sponsor was in Arizona, right? He can file the K1 visa. And if you have power of attorney for your mom, okay, it's going to take at least a year and a half, 2 years to get the K1 visa fully processed. And then you can still be power of attorney for your mom in Arizona. You can still do it. Shiku, I can do another DS-160. How do I do it? I've already submitted that one. Well, you got to go back to the DS-160 page and redo it. And then do it for your daughter. You got to submit 2. Go back to where you did the first one and redo it. Georgie Giadazi. Thanks for my explanation. Thanks for explanation. My fiance got police certificate 2 months before. Yeah, it's fine. You're good. And also, what do you mean by going saying biometric appointment? Is it in the embassy? No. Where are you at in Tbilisi? Where's that? In the Republic of Georgia? You got to go to biometrics. When you pay the visa fee, now remember the DS-160 is free, but when you pay the visa fee, that includes the biometrics. You need to send an email to the embassy and ask them what's the address for the biometrics in Tbilisi. They should tell you. They told when I filed, when I helped Karina with the DS-160 and we submitted it, then I went in and paid the visa fee. Then I scheduled the biometrics. As soon as I scheduled the biometrics, an email came to me and said, "This is the location for the biometrics. This is where you got to go. This is the address." I think it was on Gold Street or something like that. And then I scheduled the visa interview. Then I got an email saying this is the location for the visa interview. Well, we already know where the embassy is. We know where it is. It's just down the road. But they sent me directions. This is the directions to the biometrics. This is the direction to the embassy. So the biometrics are not done at the embassy, I don't think, in Tbilisi. I don't believe they are. But you got to find out where. Christopher Stout, I stayed like 15 days. Okay. Nature 01. Nature 01. Diego and Karina, I am happy to share that we have our visa in hand. Is that right? The process works. Well, of course it works. Congrats to you both. Also, I am a 2022 July filer. Okay, that's great. With my fiance in the Philippines. Now, let me ask you this, Nature 01. What questions did they ask you at the interview at the embassy in Manila? What did they ask you? What questions did they ask you? Hardy Kayur. Hi, Diego. I submit DS-160 and pay fees, but didn't get an interview slot. The embassy's busy. Just because you paid the fee doesn't mean you're going to get an interview slot. It means you've paid the fee, and now they've given you a year. The visa fee's good for a year from October 1st to September 30th, fiscal year, to find a visa slot, interview slot. And you'll get one. You'll find it. Nina Balin, a week in Colombia, also to get up visa in your passport because I have to plan a trip. Okay, it's going to take more than a week, Nina. If you're in Curacao, right? The Dutch colony of Curacao. It's going to take longer than a week. You got to have the visa interview. You got to have the medical exam. You got to draw blood. You got to get a chest X-ray. You got to wait for your visa to get put in your passport. You need to have a minimum of at least 2.5 weeks in Bogota to cover that base. Okay, you got it. Okay, guys, it was good to see everybody, and appreciate the super chat. And then we're gonna check out it. We're gonna log out of here. Karina's gonna make you some of her fantastic Italian pasta. Karina makes good Italian food. She makes Venezuelan food, Colombian food. She makes Italian food. I'm gonna make, when we get to Florida, I'm gonna cook for her an English roast dinner. I'm going to make for her real American pizza from scratch, and I'm going to make her an American hamburger, and I'll see if I can see if she likes American hamburgers. Nature 09, one of the questions was, when was the last time we saw each other? That's what I said. They only asked her 3 questions. She said it was easy. That's in the Philippines. GS, thank you, Diego. The restaurant is a Shakespeare-style house. Fantastic. Yeah, Shakespeare. He wrote The Merchant of Venice, right? William Shakespeare. My friend visited recently, got a steak and chips. Thank you for your advice about my mom. Yeah, tell your sponsor to go ahead and get that K1 visa in the mail. Get it started. If you are a power of attorney for your mom, it's okay. It's all good. You can still be power of attorney from America. The United States isn't going to block you from helping your mom. GS, William Shakespeare. I remember he wrote. I read the book. I read a book by him. He wrote The Merchant of Venice. The Merchant of Venice. What a fantastic story that is. He wrote this what in the 1600s, 15, 1600s. The Merchant of Venice. Shylock, saying he wanted a pound of flesh because he lent somebody some money, and they promised to pay him back, and then the ship with all his treasure on it got washed away in a storm, so he couldn't pay back Shylock, and Shylock said, "Okay, you can pay me back by giving me a pound of your flesh." If you guys get a chance to read The Merchant of Venice, read it. It's a really cool story. And with that said, GS gets the last word with Nature 09. We're going to go, man, I got to eat some steak and chips now. I got to eat some steak and chips. And we're going to go to that Shakespeare restaurant in Bogota. And we know exactly where it is. See you guys. Today's Monday. See, now I'm not sick. I know what day it is. See you guys Wednesday. Same time.